What's up? Welcome into Chicago Bears Now. My name is Harrison Graham. We are live here on a Thursday. Plenty to discuss as the offseason rolls along, Super Bowl week rolls along. So excited to be here with all of you. We got my handy-dandy producer, Cullen Brown, with us as always. So thanks, everybody, for being patient. About 10 minutes behind schedule today, but NBA trade deadline, a lot of stuff going on. So we are here and ready to rock and roll. Got some news that we're going to hit. We heard from DJ Moore for the first time since the end of the season. He did not speak after the game or the next day, exit interview days, but he is at the Super Bowl. So some people caught up with him, so we're going to react to that. And a couple other topics I want to hit on as well. So busy show, Cullen, plenty to discuss. And we got some motion for Cullen Brown as the odds of him going to the Super Bowl have slightly increased in the last 24 hours. Do we have a percentage update?
We're looking at probably about 15, 18%.
18? Okay.
I'm thinking 18.
Okay.
It's as low as it's gotten, so we'll see.
No, it's as high as it's got.
Or it's highest. Yeah, exactly. That's what I meant. Lowest in price that it's gotten, highest in percentage.
Yes.
You guys knew what I meant. Yes, for those people saying it in the chat, Theo Benedet has been, I guess, re-signed would be the correct term?
Theo Benedet's back. We're going to talk about that in our first segment. As an ERFA, basically, he has no leverage if the Bears now the Bears could have offered a multi-year deal outside of the RFA, but to tender him, it's like a 1-year, $1 million contract, and he either has to sign it and return to the Bears, which he did, or not play in 2026. So he is back. He'll be in the mix at left tackle. We'll see how they approach that position this offseason, but a pretty easy move. He started 8 games. I think he's a really good backup, serviceable starter, can play multiple positions, so it'll be interesting to see what they do at left tackle, but bringing him back at that price tag is a no-brainer because he's a quality rotation guy at worst. So excited for that. We got CJ in Hawaii, Crown Point, Indiana from Tom. Lacora in the chat as well. He says, place the new Bear Stadium in Lacora's backyard. If you got a big enough backyard, it's got as good of a chance as anywhere at this point.
Yeah. Where will the Bears' home be 5 years from now?
That's the big question. That is the big question. Steve in Nashville.
Because when is the last, official, if nothing else were to happen, how long are the Bears locked into Illinois for?
Well, the lease they have with Soldier Field's till the mid-2030s. So
gotcha, but they're trying to obviously, yeah, okay.
There's not really they don't have they have a home there really as long as they want it. They just want their own stadium, and they want a newer stadium, and they want to own it. They don't want to lease with the city anymore. That's really it. And Soldier Field, as electric as it was, it's the smallest capacity stadium in the league. This is Chicago, not Nashville. Now Nashville's a booming city now, but you guys know what I mean. It's not a small market team. It should have a new, better, bigger stadium.
Even Jacksonville's getting a new stadium.
Yeah, what are we doing? So,
shout out to Jax. We got Palestine, Illinois from Kevin. We've got Dyer, Indiana from Nathan. Winnipeg from Ken. So we got a little Canadian action.
Montana says, can we put the DJ trade shit to bed now? Based on what? Just because he talked today?
Perfect segue, by the way.
Yeah, I don't think a lot has really changed there in either direction. Do you guys want DJ back, yes or no? 75% say yes. 24% say no. 76-24 now.
Now, also, too, this is kind of a two-part question because obviously, DJ Moore is still a talented player, can contribute, yada, yada, yada.
Still a good player, yeah.
But at the price point.
Yeah, that's all it's ever been about. The price and the fact that you have 2 young studs on the roster ready for a bigger role.
That, too.
I don't know how much clearer I can make it. I've been critical of DJ Moore at times. Well, he's making $28 million per year. His productivity doesn't really match that. So, do they restructure him? Would he take a small pay cut? Do they trade him? They're not going to cut him. He's way too good to cut. So, see what happens. I would like him back, but, not at the current price tag. And I don't think he will be on this roster at the current price tag. Now, I'd be surprised if that were the case. Carl, how many smoking J's do you give to the Ravens going after DJ Moore? Oh, because of Declan Doyle?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, one. They've got – who's on their roster? Obviously, Zay Flowers.
Rashad Bateman.
And Bateman.
They've got
he would fit.
Walker.
He would fill a role that they don't really have. I mean, Zay does some of the gadgety stuff, but DJ Moore could fill some of that and be a secondary receiver. I could maybe see it. I don't know if they want to trade for DJ's contract, but I wouldn't completely rule that out. It's an interesting thought.
Wouldn't be the worst situation. Again, we mentioned Rashad Bateman, Zay Flowers, Tez Walker, Tylan Wallace. I mean, still Hopkins.
I think Wallace and Hopkins are free agents this year.
So
I wouldn't put them like high on the list of places he would go. Like I'd more think of like teams that are looking to jumpstart their offense. Like Baltimore's going to have a good offense. Like the Raiders, regardless of Crosby, like get Fernando Mendoza another weapon. The Titans with Cam Ward, I think they make a lot of sense. The Giants, if they want a secondary receiver next to Malik Neighbors, give Jackson Dart another weapon. So I think those are the type of teams I'd be looking at that makes sense for DJ Moore. So we'll see. Alex, appreciate the 5. Harrison, looking a little trim. I have not really been working out, but I'll take it. I need to start because usually in the off season I try to ramp up my workouts a little bit. But football season's pretty crazy. Think Ben Johnson gets Caleb making less cannon throws for more completions next year. I mean, look, I think they're going to throw the ball downfield. Part of Ben Johnson's not just offense, but overall philosophies is chasing explosives. Like they want explosives. They want 20-plus yard completions. Caleb Williams is a big game hunter, but he also does it in a way where he's not a high turnover guy. Now I know in the playoffs those crept up a bit, but a lot of those are circumstantial. A couple are on fourth down, the miscommunication with DJ Moore. So the 5 picks, I think 3 or 4 are a little misleading, but yeah, I mean, I think both things can be true. Like they clearly want the completion percentage to go up. There probably are going to be times like, hey, just take the check down, do this, do that, and just, a lot of it's just improve your overall accuracy. But a lot of this offense is they want to chase big plays throughout the course of the game. So I don't think their philosophies are going to change that much. You can pick your spots, but yeah, I don't think all of a sudden you're going to see a dink and dunk offense in Chicago. Like I just don't think that's what this offense is.
I mean, during Ben's, I want to say it was his initial press conference. It was certainly before he even coached a game for the Bears as a head coach. He said it, right, that you don't want to take the Superman out of Caleb Williams.
No.
Part of what makes Caleb Williams great is the fact that he's able to make plays out of structure. He has the arm talent to, there's damn near not any throw that Caleb can't make on any given situation.
Mm-hmm.
So, obviously, like Caleb's talked about it, he wants to work on his footwork, his timing, just overall mechanics and everything. But I don't think Ben's going to specifically, peel back the offense, kind of lower or, the shot plays or whatever you want to call it for Caleb to try to get that out. I think it's more of a process thing from Caleb's side that even Williams has said he wants to get better at.
Yeah, and it's not even just like the out of structure. It's like a lot of this offense is like play action shots, like deep crossers, sail routes, obviously vertical passes, intermediate throws. It's not full like Kevin O'Connell, like we never work quick game. Like they certainly have a lot of that, and you saw that with Loveland, especially as the year went on. And they ran a lot of slants and stuff like that. But like they are going to challenge the secondary down the field. Like yes. Those are principles of this offense. And I think Caleb got a lot better as the season went on, especially with that under center play action passing game where you're attacking the second and third levels of the field. So, yeah, I think there, will be some coaching points of like, hey, especially situationally, it's okay to just dump the ball off a little bit more. But I think even that came along as the year went on. Like he was willing to dump it off to Swift and Monungai and to his tight end. So I think it's more just getting consistent, not really changing the mindset. That's what I would say. So, I mean, Ben Johnson talks about it all the time. Like, he's very analytically driven, and the data supports, like, if you generate explosives, you're going to have one of the best offenses in the league. And we just saw that, by the way. Despite being last in completion percentage, the Bears had the most explosive offense in the NFL. One of the top two. I can't remember if them or Buffalo ended up with more explosives. But that goes to show, if Caleb is just middle of the pack in accuracy, like, this offense is going to be really, really lethal for years to come. So if he just tightens the screws on things, like, they've only scratched the surface of what they can be, and they're already – this is a comfortably top 10 offense heading into next year. Like, they tighten the screws, they're pretty easily a top 5 offense, I would say. So, I don't think philosophically that much needs to change. It's more about just growing as a player and with the overall consistency. I think the decision making's mostly good. I think where he's going with the football more often than not is the right place. It's just about delivering the football accurately more often.
And also the young weapons around him also kind of stepping their game up too.
Yeah, led the league in dropped yardage. I mean,
yeah.
If everybody gets 10% better next year, they're going to be really fucking good. and there's a lot of reason that should happen because they're all very first, second, third year players. I mean, the core of their offense. Adam Hogue has mentioned this on CHGO, so kudos to them. The 5 core pieces of the offense moving forward: Caleb, Luther, Rome, Colston, Darnell Wright. All those players are second and third year players, and then Darnell entering his 4th season. They're all 25 or younger. So there's no reason why more improvement shouldn't happen. And all 5 of those players are already very good players. The Darnell was the second team All-Pro this year. So, yeah, if everybody keeps continuing to get better, they all continue to build chemistry within the offense, they're going to be very good. So
imagine if you're somehow able to add Ozzie to that if and when he becomes back healthy. And
yeah, it's the one bummer. I don't even know if we see him this year. But yeah, long term, if he's a solid player, and that doesn't even include like other good players like Kyle Monunga, young good player. Does Jade Walker turn into something? You still have Cole Kmet, who's a good player. Your other offensive lineman, Drew Dolman, good player. Jonah Jack, like. You've got a lot of good players offensively that are going to be here for at least multiple years, and a lot of these guys that you project to get second contracts here and to be here for 6, 8, 10 years potentially. So, Alex Todd, does Ben take the chains off next year? I know we built the farm around him, but he's got the body, he's got the juice, he's solid. I already think I think Ben did a good job this year of, for the most part, letting Caleb be Caleb. Like. Yeah, he coached him and clearly drilled into him like the stuff of being an NFL quarterback, right? Like the communication pre-snap, which I think clearly grew over the course of the season, using the cadence as a weapon, teaching him how to do the next level quarterback things like get under center, play action, all that stuff. A lot of stuff Caleb hadn't done much in his career, but he also let him have the freedom to create for himself and embrace that as a player. So I think you're just going to continue to see kind of that marriage of styles continue to gel together moving forward. And Ben talked about this too in his exit press conference to end the season, is the advantage they're going to have going into next year, into next training camp, is like the core of this offense is back. So like a lot of training camp last year was like going through the growing pains of like learning this offense. Sure, there's going to be a little bit of that, especially early on, just natural rust of the offseason. But like that was like all of camp last year. That's not going to be the case this year. It's going to be about adding on to that now. And so they're going to be able to, I don't want to say skip steps, but kind of skip, the training wheels are off is basically what I'm trying to say. They don't have to go through that part of it again. So even though you're starting over, it's not like you're starting over without knowing like the cores of the playbook, right? So I think that should be exciting as well.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. And look, now that you have the foundation in place, to your point, it's about building on it. And that starts with Caleb Williams. It starts with Ben Johnson. Obviously, and that kind of leaks into the rest of the operation, as it were. But, yeah, I mean, Caleb, in terms of potential here, you've mentioned it. And I think it's a very reasonable expectation, although it's a high one, is that there is a potential possibility that at the end of this upcoming season for the NFL, Caleb Williams is talked about as a potential borderline top 5 quarterback in the league.
I think it's very much on the table. Now, steps have to be taken, clearly, but, again, he was last in the league in completion percentage. Even if in an offense like this, that's an overvalued stat, you still want it to be higher than 58.1%.
Right.
If he's 62 next year, 63, and they're just as explosive, I mean, he's going to throw for what, 4,500 yards next year? It's going to be there's no limit to how good he and this offense can be moving forward. So, yeah, it's exciting to think about. Can't skip steps this offseason, but yeah, the potential is all there. And if last year is kind of the floor of what it's going to be in this offense, and that still is generating a top 10 offense overall, then I think that's pretty exciting for Bears fans for the foreseeable future.
Montana, Harrison, you all right? You seem kind of low energy than normal.
Low energy than normal. Well, maybe D Nasty can come back into the chat, the Falcons fan, and rile me up. I'll try to raise my energy. I didn't feel like I was low energy the first 15 minutes here, but you guys are holding me accountable. So I'll bring more juice to the show here. A couple more super chats coming in.
Yeah, we'll get to those here in a second. Another one from Alex Todd. Appreciate the love and donations. He says, does Studesville get Manungai into Ray Rice territory? Not including off the field, of course. He can run mean, missing OS, Bears football, 2K yards this season, ?
I don't think – I mean, 2,000 yards. I just don't think he'll ever, regardless of capability, I don't think he'll be like that just – I don't think Ben Johnson's going to have him be that, bell cow. I think he's always going to have multiple running backs. Even in Detroit, Lions fans would always be like, play Gibbs more, don't play Montgomery. It's they like using multiple running backs. So, now, as far as the Ray Rice thing goes, I think they're similar as runners. I don't know if he can get to the Ray Rice level as a receiver. I mean, for you longtime fantasy football players, Ray Rice, in those early PPR day leagues, he's a really good receiving back. I think Manungai showed growth in that area, and I think he can continue to get better there. His running style is certainly similar. They're both compact, low-to-the-ground runners. I think if you say, hey, he's Ray Rice light as a comp, I don't hate that comp, but I don't think he's going to have a 1,200-yard rushing with 600 to 800-yard receiving yards in a single season. I just don't think he'll get enough touches for that to be the case. But yeah, I think he showed clearly that he belongs and that he can be a weapon in this offense. So definitely excited about his future. And yeah, I'm missing Bears football too, man. So it'll be fun when it returns. But Colin and I were talking the other day. The combine is less than 3 weeks away. Free agency is in a month. It's in 4 weeks from Monday, I think, is the tampering period, or right. Tuesday or something like that. So it's going to be here pretty quick. So it's the NFL never stops. That's the exciting part. TJ, thoughts on the Bulls' moves? Tune in to the Bulls report. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's good and bad. It's good that they're finally kind of committing to a rebuild, but they did it too late, and therefore they haven't gotten proper value on a lot of these trades. To not even get a protected first for Ayo Dosunmu, I think is pretty underwhelming. But at least they're kind of admitting, okay, we're pretty far away. Let's try to unload some pieces and commit to a rebuild finally. So we'll see. It's going to take a while, but that's how Ryan Poles started this thing. That was his approach, and fourth year in, they won the division and made the playoffs, and it feels like the Bears are in this window now, so maybe the Bulls can do something similar. We'll see.
I think, listen, should they've gotten better compensation for the players they offloaded, not even just this trade deadline, but also just kind of throughout the history, moving off of Alex Caruso, for example, of course, but to your point, I agree. Just the Bulls need to get in a direction where they were not going to consistently be in the play-in year in and year out. So, I think overall it's a positive to, take the approach of kind of tanking and, trying to acquire some new guys through the draft, and hopefully for Chicago, they can kind of get back to relevancy.
Did you guys see the whole Jamar Chase, Caleb Daniels thing?
Oh, Caleb
Couldn't
just
think of his
responded.
name, whatever. Well, Caleb Williams retweeted an account on Twitter saying, "Oh, how quick Jamar forgot this feeling from Caleb, quote, Daniels," and it's Jamar Chase saying one effing stop late in the game when they took the lead on the Bears. And, yeah, one of Caleb's many comeback wins in the fourth quarter this year. So, just a little reminder. That being said, Jamar, you want to be a Bear in the future? Hit me up. Try to make something happen.
That was post-Ravens game, correct?
Yes.
That was
Bengals game was one of the craziest games of the year.
It honestly was, in a way, kind of what jump-started the Bears kind of run that second half of the season.
They were up 41-27. Tremaine Edmonds has a 90-yard pick six, and it's called back because that guy's fingernail inadvertently hit him, so he was down. If you remember that.
I remember.
And then the Bengals got a quick stop and score, went for two, did the analytical play, got the ball back, scored again, and then the Bears got the ball back with 40 seconds left, and Colston Loveland had that crazy touchdown. It's one of the crazier games of the year. It's nuts. It's a good time.
Also, yeah, launching point for Colston Loveland, too, yeah.
That was his coming out party.
Yeah.
Monungai, too, because
Yep.
Swift was out. He ran for 150 yards, I think.
I think it was closer to 100. Well, no, total yards, I think it was closer.
Total yards, he had almost 200, I
Yeah.
think, because he had a few catches, too.
Yep.
Jesus saves. Would you trade a third for Kayvon Thibodeau? I'd think about it. He's in a contract year, so you probably have to pay him. A guy like him, a guy like Jermaine Johnson, who they showed interest at the deadline. To me, if you sign those type of players, you're probably extending them. And how much is an extension? Kayvon had kind of a weird year. He improved a lot as a run defender, was pretty underwhelming as a pass rusher. So his skill set fits. He's a big physical edge defender. To me, he's kind of he's kind of similar to Montez Sweat, where he's a good player, but he kind of leaves you wanting more at times. I don't know. The contract to me would be the big part here. A third for Kayvon sounds fair, but how much are you paying him? Is it $20 million a year? Is it less? Is it more? That would be the key detail for me that I would have to know. All right.
Agreed. And I think, look, I'd question what Kayvon Thibodeau would be as a number one edge rusher, but in a committee, I could contribute.
If Sweat's here for another year still and he's your number two opposite of him, Booker's your three, I think that's pretty solid. It's kind of like we don't have that true alpha, but we have three solid players approach. So, I wouldn't mind it. I wouldn't mind it. Again, I'd want to see what the contract extension would be. A couple more super chats, and then we'll kind of get into a couple of segments here.
Yep, we've got Gabriel coming in with a super chat. Says, "What's Caleb's adjusted completion percentage? Without all the drop passes."
I think it's. Let me see. I can find this real quick on PFF.
Not speak there for a second.
Let us see. Give me a second. Passing. 69.4, which for adjusting completion percentage is still below average. But, an over 10% difference, I think is a pretty significant number. I don't know what the typical difference between actual and adjusted completion percentage is for if you add up all the quarterbacks. I would guess it's not 11.3% difference. I would guess it's probably between 5 and 8. Look, I think you're looking for a, can you get to a 62 to 65% completion rate next year? I think Josh Allen, I know people have compared this rise to Josh Allen's rise of rookie year, overall up and down, second year, really exciting player, but still inconsistent, third year, big jump. But even in Josh's third year, and even to this day, Josh Allen is not Mr. Accurate.
No.
Josh Allen's third year. Now, Caleb doesn't run like Josh. He's not going to run for 700 yards in a season, although he probably could run more if he wanted to. Josh's, so actually his third year was by far, he jumped up from 58.8 to 69.2, but then since then, 63, 63, 66. 63, 69. So he's kind of like, it's kind of topsy-turvy from year to year.
A little roller coaster.
I wouldn't expect to jump to 69, but like Josh has had 1, 2, 3 out of his last 5 years, he's been 63 and a half-ish. So like if Caleb settled in where like his floor is like 62, 63, and then like, some years he's 65 to 68, like with how explosive he is with his arm and keeping plays alive, I think you'd be fine with that. So, these guys they're eye test quarterbacks. You gotta, you can look at a guy like Tua Tagovailoa is going to be near the league in completion percentage every year. You know why? Because if he isn't, he's unplayable. Like, if he's not completing near 70%, he's an unplayable player because he has a weak arm and he can't move and he can't shed contact in the pocket. And that's fine. That's his skill set. But it's like these quarterbacks are not all created equal.
No.
So, yes, clearly we want higher than 58%. But, I think – what I think a lot of this is Ben throwing out that goal of 70%. I think it's like I don't want to – it's like misconstrued what good quarterback play is going to be with Caleb Williams moving forward. He's probably never going to be a 70% guy. He just probably isn't because they're going to hunt big plays, and he's probably never going to be a Drew Brees type of accurate quarterback. Doesn't mean it can't improve. Like Josh Allen certainly has improved a lot with his accuracy. But, I think that getting to the low mid-60s next year, settle in there, and if, later in your career it climbs, which, as he gets into like his late 20s, early 30s, and some of the athleticism starts to wane, he'll need to be a better just overall pocket passer, but we're years away from that needing to be the case. So Lex with the 5, when the Bears extend Wright, I assume you mean Darnell, do you think they could make him the highest paid tackle? They could. It would not shock me. My guess is he won't come in as the highest paid, but probably top 5 or 6. I saw this going around Twitter, Spotrac, and you have to take the Spotrac contract projections with a grain of salt right now because they have like a computerized system that spits information into. They will go back later and manually adjust those. His extension projection is 3 years, $58 million, which is just over $19 a year. If that's on the table, they should have signed that yesterday. Like, that would be the best contract in the NFL for an offensive tackle. He is going to clear, I would say, at least $25 million per year. He's a second-team All-Pro, and he's 24 years old. He's going to make a shit ton of money. I would say highest paid, probably not, but it wouldn't shock me either. Okay, do we know what this currency is?
Chilean pesos.
And what does this convert to?
Not
it's
a
red,
bad.
so I'm guessing it's not $100.
No,
but,
this is so anytime we have a new currency, it turns into red. So 1 Chilean peso equals 0.0012 United States dollars. That being said, we greatly appreciate the donation.
I don't care how much it is. I'm just curious. Okay.
But yeah.
Shout out to Jay Pendergrast. He says, scale 1 to 10, hopes for Dio year 2, and where to Shamar Turner on the line. We need defensive tackle help big time. Dexter did not progress. Yeah, I kind of agree on Dexter. I felt like early in the year, it was like, okay, like that year 3 jump is here. Then I thought he slowed down a lot. I don't view him as a fit in this defense long term. Doesn't mean he can't be a little better next year, but he'd have to take a big jump to be here beyond 2026. As far as Dio, I mean, he's coming off an Achilles. If he came back and was a solid contributor, I would take it. Shamar Turner, my guess is he'll move around some. He'll play some edge. He'll play some D-tack. That was why I liked him when they drafted him, because of his versatility. And they initially said they were going to focus on him as defensive tackle, but the last few games before he suffered the torn ACL, they were playing him at edge pretty much. So we'll see kind of what their plans are with him. I'm still hopeful for his future, but the injury hurts because he's going to miss a lot of the offseason. So we may not have a clear picture on him until year 3. So I think with both these guys, if they could contribute next year, I'd be happy. I don't think you can over consider them in your defensive line outlook as you approach free agency in the draft. I think you kind of look at them and be like, okay, they're going to be on the team, but you can't pencil them in as starters. It is how I would approach it. So I still think defensive line, both edge and D-tack, are positions to attack. And I don't think their statuses really impact that. Like, if they give you something, great. If they're awesome, even better. But it's kind of like the Ozzie thing. Like, I don't think you can anticipate a ton here, even if they're going to be available sooner than a guy like Ozzie Trapillo is.
One thing, and by the way, just to answer this question, more confident in Turner than Dio, just because Dio with the Achilles, again, Turner's got the ACL, so both are like extreme injuries.
Achilles is more concerning. Plus, it's his second one, I think.
I think so.
Yeah.
Not necessarily confident either in terms of, like you mentioned, being starters. One video that could be interesting that we could do, Harry, is exploring the different ways that the Bears kind of improve the pass rusher. So they have 3 routes that they could potentially do, and they might do a combination of these 3, but like trade for a big pass rusher, whether that be, Crosby, Garrett, whomever, going through free agency, right? Signing either Khalil Mack or Elway, whomever, Jalen Phillips, all that stuff, or just going through the draft. And I think it would be a cool kind of video just to like, hey, this is 3 ways the Bears could potentially fix their pass rush this offseason, breaking it like a full breakdown. Would you guys be wanting to see that?
I like it. Why for yes and for no? Alex Todd, Theo Benedet starting at left tackle next year. I think he'll be in the mix. I think they will enter the offseason program unless they just sign like a Rasheed Walker or something. I don't think they're going to do that. But I think they will enter the offseason program with that position kind of up in the air. Because I don't think you want to overinvest there, but I don't think you can't afford to just underinvest either. I would guess they add a veteran free agent into that mix and maybe draft a guy in the middle rounds too. I think they'll give themselves a few options. The guy I'm keeping an eye on the Taylor Decker situation. If he gets cut and wants to play another year, to me he's like the perfect solution. Come play for 1 year. You know the system. You were with Ben for a few years. He's not a long-term player at this point. He's had some injuries. He's year to year at this point. And then, you can afford to not rush Ozzie back then. Like if Ozzie just needs to sit this year and rehab, great. Taylor Decker can hold it down. And then Ozzie's back in the fold in 2027. Like to me, that would be the ideal scenario. If a guy like that freed up and you can get him on a 1-year deal, I don't know if the Lions will cut him, but they are going to have to make some moves to move around their cap, and he is a potential cut candidate. So I would keep an eye on that situation.
Yeah, Decker's an option. Theo, obviously, them bringing him back, he'll at least be, competing for that starting left tackle job. One thing they could also do is potentially in the draft, again, depending on other needs, if they address free agency and whatnot, maybe they draft kind of a left tackle, left guard hybrid. J.C. Davis, I think the kid from Illinois, is kind of one of those tweeners that can play either or.
Iowa kid's kind of like that too. Now he's played more on the right side, Dunker,
yeah. Maybe they do
something like that.
Yeah, just because Joe Thuney's not getting any younger, potentially look at him as like a long-term solution at left guard. Maybe they kick Thuney out to left tackle for a year. I don't know, but
it's possible they play Thuney out at left tackle this year, and left guard really becomes more of the competition with like Luke Newman, Jordan McFadden, and to your point, maybe a draft pick. Maybe that's like the competition. So, Thuney and Theo being back, like you do have options. But I think they'll have more guys in the fold here. The crazy option, crazy may not be the right word, but like Tristan Wirfs entering year 4, flip to left tackle. Would you do that with Darnell and then just plug and play at right tackle? Because plugging and playing at right tackle is a little easier than plugging and playing at left tackle. So that would be another option. Now, it's risky because you're probably going to pay him, and what if he's just not as good at left tackle? But worked out well for Tristan Wirfs. I think Darnell Wright is certainly capable of doing it, but I'm also in the camp of like, do you want to mess with a good thing over there? So we'll see. I do think there are different avenues, and this is where having a good interior in place and one really good tackle, like it's not like they have like 3 potential moving parts here. Like they just have to they need their 5th starter regardless of the position. Like if they move someone to left, then you still only need 1 starter somewhere. So that's the good news. Z-Berry Productions predictions: DJ Moore traded to Pittsburgh, New York, Atlanta, or Las Vegas. Trey Hendrickson signed to a 3-year deal. Byard and C.J. Gardner-Johnson re-signed. I could see that. Those are all teams that could use a receiver as well. I think Atlanta would probably only happen if they cut Darnell Mooney, which they could. Former Bears legend, of course. Pittsburgh's an interesting thought. I actually, that would actually be a good fit with DK because, like,
they complement each other well.
Yeah, I think they complement each other. DJ Moore can do a lot of different things. Metcalf's going to play on the perimeter and run, hitches, goes, and like slants, and that's pretty much it. Whereas DJ can run those digs. You can get him manufactured touches. So that would be interesting. I do think Byard's back. If the contract's cheap, I would like C.J. Gardner-Johnson back. Like if you can get him for $3-4 million on a 1-year deal, I'd be in. He could be your second starting safety. He could be a dime package linebacker. He can be your backup nickel for a guy like Kyler Gordon, who we know gets banged up. So if the price is right, I would like to bring him back for sure. Okay, hit that like button. We're going to dive into our first segment here. We'll take more questions, so hashtag Bears or Super Chat, of course, but let's get more Bears fans here on the show. All you got to do is like this video. Would you trade DJ Moore for Marvin Harrison Jr.? Straight up, yes. Yes. Marv has not had a great start to his career, but it's not like he's been awful. He's been awful for where he got drafted, but like it's not like he's been bad, and he makes not that much money. He's on a rookie deal.
Also, he really hasn't played with the best offensive structure, let's call it.
Yeah, he hasn't been in the best situation. I think you get Ben Johnson's hands on him, Antoine Randall L's hands on him, I think, you got him and Rome on the perimeter, Burden in the slot. I think all three of those guys can move around too. I mean, there's no way the Cardinals would do that.
No, not a chance.
No chance at all. Even if they're kind of down on Marv, I don't think they'd trade him for DJ Moore. Not because DJ's not good. It's just why would they pick up DJ Moore's contract when they're not really in a win-now situation? So, all right, we got a lot to get to. We'll jump into today's news and updates. We did hear from DJ Moore at the Super Bowl earlier today. He spoke with Jarrett Payton, CHGO, some others. So we'll kind of react to that. We'll take more questions, hashtag Bears or Super Chat to get your questions answered here on the show. And then I do want to talk about a potential new trade target. This has been circulating around Twitter the last couple of days, so we're going to dive into this player specifically as well. So lots to discuss. Let's dive into it here on Chicago Bears Now. I'm Harrison Graham. We got a lot to get to here on today's show. We finally hear from DJ Moore after the disappointing end to the season with that loss in L.A. What did he say about that final play for the Bears offense and about his future in Chicago? Eric Studesville, want to dive deeper into his resume and some of the running backs he's worked with. Plus, Ryan Poles has already re-signed a Bears free agent. He's back for next season. We'll tell you who that is and react to that as well. But if you want to support me, I am all over social media, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. It's the same handle, at HGrahamNFL. On Facebook, if you're on the app, just search Harrison Graham Chat Sports. You'll find me. And if you're on your desktop or want to just type it into your browser, it's facebook.com/HGrahamNFL. There's not really handles on Facebook, but kept it consistent there with the link. Just launched my Facebook business profile, so I would love some more support over there. But if you want to support me on socials, I am all over the place on all of those platforms. All right, DJ Moore sounding off at the Super Bowl. He talked to Jarrett Payton. He talked to CHGO and others, and I want to react to some of the stuff he had to say. This quote was via CHGO, so credit to those guys for getting this from him. I think Adam Johns got the interview. What happened from your perspective, DJ, on that interception in overtime against the Rams? Because remember, we didn't hear from DJ after the game. He said it was just a miscommunication. We got to attack it next time we get something like that and just go from there. And look, they've been consistent in what they've said. Caleb multiple times when pressed about it, it was just a miscommunication. Ben Johnson didn't lay blame on anybody. I still would like to see a veteran receiver flatten that out based on the leverage of the safety. I think that's how Caleb saw it, but clearly publicly no one's throwing anybody under the bus, which is probably how it should be handled. I wouldn't have minded if DJ was like, yeah, I wish I would have flattened that route out or something like that, but I don't think he's ducking smoke either. So, you just got to hope in the future, if DJ is here, that they're on the same page in a big situation like that. Speaking of his future, he was asked, do you want to be a part of this moving forward? You were finally on a winning team this year. He said, I would love to stay with the Bears. Like I told them, Ryan Poles and Ben Johnson, in our exit meeting, I love being here. I really didn't have any expectations for this year, but everything went out the window when we got Ben. I was all in on this team. And one thing that is absolutely true about DJ Moore is his toughness and playing through injuries. He was banged up all year, so you do definitely appreciate his efforts in that regard to suit up every single Sunday. And look, it'll be interesting to see what happens. We've talked about it a lot. He's a guy you could trade to save money. You could restructure him to clear out some space. And you got Luther Burden and Odunze. So how do all of these pieces fit together moving forward? You got Colson Loveland, who you want to continue to run a lot of your offense through. So, there's a lot of mouths to feed. If DJ Moore's here, I don't think we're going to see a guy putting up numbers that he did in 2023 when he was getting force-fed, because he was the only good player really in the offense that year. So I think he understands that, which that's the good thing. And he talked about it this year. He's like, look, I've just been happy that I was winning this year. I've never been on a winning team. But, you're probably going to see more of what we saw this year, where the yards per catch will be better than what we saw in 2024. But he's probably not a guy catching 90 footballs in this offense moving forward, because you want to continue to get Loveland touches. You want to continue to have Luther Burden ascend. You get Odunze back in the fold. He's probably a guy that catches 50 to 60 balls, 600 to 800 yards. If he's cool with that, and if the price tag can come down, hey, bring him back. I'm cool with that. DJ Moore's a good football player, but he's getting paid wide receiver one money, and he's not really that for this team anymore. Which is fine. But when you have options to clear cap, when you have bigger needs on the roster, especially defensively, his next 3 years, $28.5 million cap hit. You trade him this year, you save $16.5. Next year, $20.5. Last 2 years, $24.5, including in 2029, where you could get him completely off the books. I do not expect him to still be here in 2029, certainly. But his 4-year extension in some ways is really just starting to kick in this year. But the guaranteed money, a good chunk of that has already been paid out. Another option, which we've discussed, is a restructure. And you could save up to $16.8 million, depending on if you want to do a maximum restructure or a partial restructure or whatever the case may be. Would he take a pay cut? I doubt it. He's still in his 20s. I don't think he's in the business of taking pay cuts at this stage in his career. But the Bears have options. They could pursue a trade. They could restructure some or all of his contract for this year and convert it into a signing bonus and kick money down the road, which increases the cap hits down the road. So, you're playing a balancing game, present and future. And again, I like DJ Moore. He's a good player, but his contract doesn't match his production, regardless of whose fault it is. There's just too many weapons where none of these guys are probably going to have 1,300 yards, and if one of them is, it's probably not DJ Moore. That's just how it seemed if we watched the offense this year objectively. So I'm curious to see what it is. I'm open-minded to him returning. I'm open-minded to trading him too, because this is a business and you have bigger needs on this team. But one thing I am confident in, and I've said this since the end of the season, his cap hit will not be $28.5 million this year. They will either trade him or they will restructure him or he will take a pay cut. I do not think he will play out 2026 under that cap hit. It just does not make sense from the Bears roster construction standpoint. So whatever they do, it won't just be nothing. They will do something to adjust that contract for DJ Moore. Do you want DJ Moore back in 2026? Type Y for yes, or you can type in for no. Again, I'd like to have him back. I'm not anti-DJ Moore. I'm anti-DJ Moore's cap hit being $28.5 million. That's what I'm anti. When you need some pass rushers, you need a safety, you probably need a linebacker. You got bigger needs to fill on this roster. All right, coming up, Eric Studesville, impressive resume. We've already talked about him a decent bit, as the Bears have hired a running backs coach who's been coaching in the NFL for more than 3 decades. I'm going to kind of dive into him a little bit more. Plus, don't forget the Bears have re-signed a player. But we got to dive into today's sponsor first, because there's one game left this football season. The big game, and it's almost here, and there's no better way to cash in during America's biggest sporting event than Prize Picks, where it always feels good to be right. And since the big game is right around the corner, that also means it's your last chance to get into the football action before next season. So close the season out right with Prize Picks by getting $50 instantly in lineups when you play your first $5. Prize Picks is the only app that offers stacks, meaning you can pick the same player up to 3 times in the same lineup. If you want to take one of the quarterbacks in the big game more or less on their passing yards, rush yards, and touchdowns, you can, all in one lineup, only on Prize Picks. You got a big game max discount with one of the quarterbacks, Drake May, half passing yard. Boom. You already are halfway home on a 2-player lineup. 2 to 6 player lineups. Pick more, pick less on the stat projections available. You qualify for a lineup with Prize Picks. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use our code CLNS to get $50 in the lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That is code CLNS to get $50 in the lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it is good to be right. Okay, let's take a deeper dive, or just a different angle, I guess, into Eric Studesville, the new running backs coach who was actually the Bears receiver coach in the late 90s, and then he's bounced around the league, running back coaches several different places, has been with Miami since 2017, multiple different head coaches, which goes to show kind of the respect he's garnered from different individuals throughout his time, including Ben Johnson, who was with him in his early part of his Miami tenure before Ben ended up in Detroit. Eric Studesville has coached 7 different running backs to 1,000-yard rushing seasons and 12 1,000-yard rushing seasons from one individual in total. So these 7 players combined for 12 1,000-yard rushing seasons. Tiki Barber in the early 2000s with the Giants had a couple of them. Willis McGahee with Buffalo. Marshawn Lynch with Buffalo. Fred Jackson with Buffalo. Noshawn Marino got 1,000-plus yards out of him in Denver. Raheem Mostert had the best year of his career under him in Miami. And now De'Von Achane, who had over 1,300 rushing yards this year. And again, 12 different 1,000-yard rushing seasons for one individual, not like as a team, under him as the running backs coach since he's been a running backs coach in the early 2000s. It's really impressive. He's put together quite the resume here. And what impresses me is when you think about some of those names, Noshawn Marino, Fred Jackson, like sure, he had Tiki Barber and he had Marshawn Lynch, Willis McGahee. It's not like these are all pros and Hall of Famers, right? Raheem Mostert. He's getting the most out of a lot of these guys. And that's exactly what Eric Bieniemy did this year with DeAndre Swift and Kyle Monangai. DeAndre Swift had the best year of his career, most efficient year of his career. I think the most total yardage of his career, as he almost had 1,400 all-purpose yards. Kyle Monangai, as a 7th-round rookie, was one of the 4 or 5 best rookie running backs in the NFL. And so losing Eric Bieniemy was a big loss for a position coach. Well, Eric Studesville is one of the best in the business at what he does. There's a reason he's been coaching in the NFL for over 3 decades and as a running backs coach since 2001. He's really, really good at coaching running backs. And so I expect whoever the Bears running backs are this year, if it's Swift and Monangai or if they bring in somebody else to pair with Monangai, if they want to pivot off of DeAndre Swift, whatever it is, I expect them to be productive at that position. Why? Because Eric Studesville has a strong, long resume, and we know Ben Johnson's system really works at running the football, and he's got a good offensive line to run behind whoever these running backs are. So I'm pretty amped about this hire. I think it's a really good recovery after losing Bieniemy, and I also think it's another check box in the Ben Johnson column early on here. Like, yeah, Eric Bieniemy, notable loss. How about Eric Studesville, who's been doing it for 30 years? That's pretty good response from old Benny J. So nice pickup, and I like what he's been able to do with a lot of different stylistic running backs. Who do you guys think is the leading rusher on the Bears next season? Type DS for DeAndre Swift, KM for Kyle Monangai. I would guess Swift if both are here. I still think he would be the lead back, but I think you'll continue to see kind of a pretty even split moving forward, which is what we saw after the first month and a half of the season. Okay, today's news of the day. Shout out Kevin Fishbane. Quick roster note, he says, Theo Benedet, who was an exclusive rights free agent, is signed for 2026, 1 year, $1 million. Collegiate right tackle, never played a snap at left tackle before training camp, started 8 games, finished 4th in ESPN's run block win rate among offensive tackles. Now gets a full offseason to train at left tackle. Couple things here. One, no-brainer for the Bears. ERFAs, if you offer the tender, they either sign it, which is a 1-year vet minimum deal, or they can't play. So easy decision for the Bears because at worst, he's a good backup offensive lineman. another angle here is what a story. They found this guy as a UDFA out of Canada a couple years ago, and he ended up starting like half the season for you at left tackle. Yeah, he's got limitations, especially in pass pro, but, jumbo package guy, serviceable starter. Now, I don't think you roll into next season with him as your starting left tackle. I think at minimum there's a competition there, but he's got a great opportunity and a great find by Ryan Poles, who one thing he's really been good at is finding these kind of diamond in the rough UDFAs. I mean, you think about it over the years, the Jack Sanborns, the Theo Benedet, the Josh Blackwells, the Jalen Jones, Jade Walker, Tyson Bagent, all those guys have spent time on the 53, and they've all contributed as undrafted free agents. It's pretty impressive. So a great find by the Bears and a no-brainer to bring him back. And, we'll see how this left tackle thing plays out. But Theo's very valuable because he's versatile in terms of what positions he can play. Would I bet on him being the season-long left tackle? Probably not, but he'll be in the mix, and he will be on the 53, and he costs you no money. So that is a great value and a no-brainer re-signing for the Chicago Bears. So kudos to the Bears. Not wasting any time and locking that in. All right, that's going to do it for this edition of Chicago Bears Now. We will continue to pump out content, so hit that subscribe button. Follow me on my social platforms, and as always, bear down. All right, mailbag time, super chat, or hashtag Bears. Get your questions on the show.
Yep, just looking through these. Z Berry, who sent in a couple. We can get him in twice. He sent in 2 super chats. We'll get him both his. Or actually, here we'll show one of them now. We'll get the other one in on the mailbag, and then Benjamin Sandman. You guys will both be in the mailbag. We can show one of Z Berry's super chats here. I think he was extending upon the DJ Moore super chat that he mentioned earlier.
Miami or Buffalo. I don't view Miami. I don't think Miami where they're at. I can see the Bills though. It makes sense. Mooney 526 for $18 million. Atlanta saved 7 by releasing him. DJ arguably best wide receiver available in free agency trade. You know what's funny? I could actually see Ben Johnson being really interested in Darnell Mooney. He's a really good route runner. He's good after the catch. He's got good speed. And he's been banged up a lot, but he may not get that much in free agency. So, I wonder if there would be a world where they would trade DJ and, bring in Mooney for, $5 or $6 million. I'd bet against it, but I think at this offense, he'd actually be pretty good. So, 2 years ago with Atlanta when he was healthy, he was excellent. He had almost 1,000 yards. So, you never know. You never know. All right, get those questions in. For the other super chats, we'll get those on the show. But hashtag Bears, we'll work in as many of those questions as we can as well. Someone says, which running back coach would you rather have? Well, they already have one. So if you meant him or Deuce Staley, both were very qualified.
Did you mean like Studesville or Bieniemy? Was that the
question?
question?
That's interesting. I'd probably still go Bieniemy because he's been an offensive coordinator as well, but I think both are really good running back coaches.
Yeah, not sure what you meant by that, but
Mooney was still mid in Chicago. Had a 1,000-yard season. Yeah, and again, he'd be like a complimentary piece. He'd be like your distant wide receiver 3 behind Burden and Rome in that scenario. Just a thought, DC Viper. I'm not sitting here saying they're going to bring back Darnell Mooney. He may not even be cut. So
even then, I mean, what is he like? It's
your wide receiver 3, but really like your 4th or 5th weapon.
Mm-hmm.
The goal there would be like, hey, he's got he offers a little more than a guy like OZ does.
Yeah.
Now you'd have to pay him more. You're not going to get him for the vet minimum. Probably at least $5 million. But
for as underwhelming as Zacchaeus was, I feel like he's a really safe bet to bring back if he's obviously
if it's vet minimum again, bring him back. I know he had a couple uncharacteristic drops, but he still fits the offense. They clearly trust him. He was good in that first playoff game against the Packers. Yeah, if he doesn't cost any money, I would just bring him back. Knows the offense. I think there's a lot of value in that too. Vet minimum, knows the offense. That's kind of because any other outsider is going to have to learn this offense, which we know is not the easiest offense to pick up. So
make sure you guys use hashtag Bears or Super Chat to get into questions. It could be something about free agency. Could be some draft targets that you think Harry might have an opinion on, whatever the case may be. Use hashtag Bears to get involved in this mailbag that's about to start.
Brent wants Cullen's keys to victory for the Seahawks.
Oh,
Maybe
Super
at
Bowl?
the end of this mailbag, we can get Cullen's keys to victory. Just off the dome.
Yeah.
You rock? Is that JSN?
That is a little the Emerald City route artist, as he is now known as. Unbelievable.
Unreal.
Unbelievable. I'll tell you what. I'll let the chat decide.
Oh, you don't say. Matt Ryan says Ian Cunningham will be the one driving the ship and in charge when it comes to the draft and free agency. That is really interesting. Not a forward move, though. I got to tweet this out.
I'll tell you this much. If someone wants to use hashtag Bears thoughts on the latest Ian Cunningham news, that may or may not get put into this mailbag. Just saying. Just literally hashtag Bears like you see it on screen. Thoughts on Ian Cunningham news. Just word of the wise.
Give me the picks, Goodell. You know the Bears being good is a good thing, Raj. We saw it this year. Come on. Give me my picks. Do the right thing. Do you want to be on the right or wrong side of history, Raj? Unbelievable. Yeah, honestly, get to that.
That's what I'm saying. I'm kicking
Might
off.
put this out tomorrow morning.
All right, the first one to say it was Shellington and Turnipair. So because you were the quickest, you will be involved in this mailbag.
All right, let's do it. Give us the picks. Let's go. This is Chicago Bears Now. My name is Harrison Graham. It is time for a mailbag. Thoughts on the Ian Cunningham news from Shellington Turnipair Otters. Okay, so if you missed this, we're filming this live on Thursday. Matt Ryan doing an interview with, I've got it pulled up right here. Let's see, NFL and CBS, who we worked for the last couple of years. CBS was part of their studio show. Says that Ian Cunningham will be driving the ship and in charge when it comes to the draft and free agency. You don't say. Sounds like the comp pick should be ours, NFL. Sounds like a forward move to me because he was not in charge of the roster and the draft and free agency in Chicago. He was Ryan Pohl's right-hand man, had a lot of input, but a secondary football executive. That sounds like a primary football executive to me, does it not? Like, the NFL needs to do the right thing here and give the Bears the comp picks. Now, we won't know anything official until the start of the league year, I think, when the comp picks get handed out. He's clear. It's a clear upward move. There's no debate about that whatsoever. And again, I would say this about any team. Of course, with it being the Bears, I'm going to be a little more passionate about it and talk about it a little bit more. But this would be true for any team. You hire an assistant GM to be your GM. The guy above you tells the world, yeah, he's in charge of the roster. That's a primary football executive by definition. So I hope they get this right. I hope they do the Bears right. I don't know if they will, but I think it's pretty obvious that Ian Cunningham should net the Bears 2 third-round picks, one this year and one next year. And for the segment of social media saying stop worrying about the picks, 2 third-round picks is not a nothing burger. That's pretty impactful. All right, Z-Berry Productions predictions. Edmonds released, I agree. DeMarco Jackson signed, I agree. Swift restructure. Nothing changes if they restructure him because he's on the final year of his deal. They could extend him. They could cut him. They could trade him. There's not really a restructure they can do. Santos possible release. I disagree. I'm fully come around on Cairo being back. His ability to kick in elements is impressive. His pros far outweigh the really only con, which is he doesn't have one of the stronger legs in the league. Signed Brian Robinson. Well, to be your third back, sure, but your third back needs to play on special teams. Is he going to play on special teams? Maybe. I don't think he's done much of that in his career, so I probably would push back on that one. All right, who is your current favorite Chicago Bear? Current player on the roster, favorite Chicago Bear currently. Let us know who it is in the comments of this video. All right, another super chat. Appreciate the 5 from Bear Down for Life. What would it be worth to re-sign Braxton Jones, 1 or 2 year deal for like $7 to $8 million, and go with him at left tackle and sit Ozzie all of 2026? $7 to $8 million per year, or 2 years, $8 million total? I think the price will play a role here. My guess is the Bears let Braxton hit free agency. They let the league dictate the market. If you can get him back 1 year deal less than $5 million, I'd be open to it. Throw him into a competition. He'll be fully healthy this offseason, unlike last offseason. I do wonder if a fully healthy Braxton Jones is a better option than Theo Benedet at left tackle. But I think it would come down to money, plain and simple. Tyler Kaufman is the reason the Bears won't renew the lease at Soldier Field, the same reason they're threatening to leave Illinois totally. Tax certainty. They can afford to pay the taxes to stay. They have 9. See, I don't know what you mean by the end of that. The main reason is they want their own stadium, and B, Soldier Field has the smallest capacity in the NFL. Like they need an upgraded, newer stadium. Don't get me wrong, Soldier Field's cool. It was an electric atmosphere in the playoffs. It's over 100 years old. They're leasing it from the city. They want to bring a Super Bowl to Chicago. They want to bring other events to Chicago or wherever the stadium is. It's just, look, in a perfect world, like, it'd be cool if the Bears could just buy Soldier Field from the city, which I guess they could try, and do some major renovation project. But to do all that would probably cost more than building a new stadium. I think in a perfect world, they would build a new stadium on the lakefront, tear down Soldier Field, keep the historical landmarks of it, like the columns and all that, repurpose those around the new stadium, and you're good to go. But that's not going to happen. It's just, there's too many factors there. So I don't know what happens with the stadium. Indiana's making a push, certainly, but it's unclear at this point in time. All right, guys, we have Iceman merch. What a season for Caleb Williams. Chatsports.com/Iceman. You can get the navy or the white T-shirts with the Iceman 18 and the silhouette of Caleb's fourth down throw against the Packers. The Iceman cometh. He tooketh a lot this year. $29.99. It's an awesome deal. The hoodies for just $44.99. High-quality stuff. Chatsports.com/Iceman. You can also get a bundle for $10 off. Chatsports.com/Iceman 1 is the white hoodie and the navy shirt for $65. That's $10 off when you just buy each of the products separately. And then if you want to flip it, navy hoodie and white shirt, chatsports.com/Iceman 2 for $65. Check it out. Awesome deal. Get our Iceman bundles or just gear today. Okay, Crisis King, $5. With what DJ said about the team, do you think this influences the Bears to keep him or trade him to a team who needs wide receiver 1? Percentage of Bears getting Crosby. I don't think DJ's comments at Super Bowl week have any bearing on whether or not the Bears will be back. He had his exit meeting with the Bears and told them that he loves being here. So, like, that'll carry some weight, but ultimately the Bears will do what they think is best for the Bears. If keeping DJ Moore is what they think is best for the Bears, they will keep him. If restructuring his contract to lower his cap hit and keeping him is what's best for the Bears, they will do that. If they think trading him and trimming that money and getting him off their books moving forward is what's best and freeing up money for a different position, they will do that. I think they're working through all those scenarios. How much confidence do they have in Rome Odunze and Luther Burden moving forward? If it's supremely high, along with Colson Loveland, I do think they will be open to trading him. So I don't think anything's set in stone. I don't think a decision's been made, but I think all those options are on the table. Omar X with the 5. Not sure how it works, but if JT Barrett gets selected as offensive coordinator, what's your thoughts on Case Keenum moving into his old role? Well, as far as how it works, they can hire anybody. So if Case Keenum wants to call it a career and go into coaching and the Bears want to hire him, they could absolutely do that. They could do that regardless of JT Barrett's situation. They could hire him as a quality control coach, assistant quarterbacks coach. Can't remember if they have an assistant QB's coach or not. I have had the thought of, like, it seemed like Case and Ben really hit it off. Like, if Case did want to go into coaching, I do wonder if Ben would bring him on. If Case wants to play another year, I'd be cool with that too. Like, I think he had a big influence on that locker room, on Caleb and on Tyson. He's kind of an extension of the coaching staff, kind of like a in-between role of player and coach. So I would like to have him back in some capacity in 2026. Subscribe to the channel. We will have you guys covered throughout the offseason. Daily videos. We go live every Monday and Thursday as well. We'll go live for breaking news situations and events. What's an event? Free agency, draft, etc. So lock us in, subscribe. We got you guys covered. All right, Harrison's new crib. The White House photo. Unreal. Not my crib. I do have a new house, though. What's your thoughts about the current NFL Pro Bowl and skills competition? I remember when the skills comp was much-watched TV. As you watch quarterbacks try to throw each other was epic. Now it's unwatchable. Yeah, it was cool. The old, like, they would try to throw it. Who could throw it the furthest? Who could hit those moving targets? All that stuff. I'll be honest. I don't even know what the skills competitions are now. Isn't it like dodgeball and other stuff like that? No idea. Haven't watched it in years. Saw a few clips from the game. Look, we all know it's a joke. It only still exists for one reason: TV. It still draws ratings on TV. So they're not going to get rid of it entirely, but players don't want to get hurt. I don't blame them. I don't know what you do to make it a more watchable product, but again, people are watching. And as long as people are watching, ESPN is going to continue to want it on their network, and the NFL is going to continue to have it. So I just think it is what it is, and just don't watch would be my advice. Like, I don't think it has to affect your life either way. Okay, Harrison Graham's number one fan, $2. Appreciate it. What's the odds we land max, and what's the haul? Oh, the other guy asked this too, so my bad on wait until now. I don't know. Is it 15%? I think there's a chance. I don't think they will pay 2 first-round picks. Brad Biggs said as much. Ian Rappaport said it shouldn't cost that much, though, in terms of, like, the Micah deal. So, the idea I threw out was like a first this year, a third next year, and a player. Trevon Dexter, DJ Moore, someone like that. So that's probably about as far as I would go. All right, Brent, can we get a quick segment of Cullen's keys to victory for the Seahawks? He's been part of the show all season, and could be fun to see what he thinks on his team. Perfect way to end the mailbag, as this will go out before Super Bowl 60, and Cullen might even be at the Super Bowl. There is a chance he's going to go watch his Seahawks. So, Cullen, if you want to go a little rapid fire, maybe a couple of areas you're keeping an eye on for this, for the big game, if you will.
The big game, yes. And look, I think it's going to – I'll just give 3 kind of quick ones here. If Seattle can win the line of scrimmage battle, especially on defense, getting home against the Patriots offensive line, Will Campbell struggled since coming back from injury. Got to be able to get pressure with 4. Also, on the offensive side, Sam Darnold just has to continue to ball. I mean, he has been lights out so far this postseason. It seems like the oblique's not really bothering him, so he has to continue to play at a high level, or at least to the level where you're not committing any turnovers. And ultimately, it's embrace the Mike McDonald mentality. We do not care. The MOB mantra, which if you don't know what that is, feel free to look it up. But, yeah, I think it's going to be a close game. Patriots, Seahawks, I may be there, which is crazy to say out loud. But, yeah, I think if they follow those 3 things, they've got a good shot of winning.
You got a prediction?
I'm going to go Seahawks 31, Patriots 28.
I'm more on the lower scoring. I'm going to go 24-17 Seahawks. I think the key is if Darnold plays clean, the Seahawks win.
For sure.
That's what I think. You guys let us know. Super Bowl champs, SEA for the Seahawks, NE for the New England Patriots. Who wins? If you want to drop a score prediction, you can do that as well. We're both riding with the Seahawks. I got them 24-17. All right, thanks to everybody for tuning in. I'm all over social media, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. It's the same handle, @HGramNFL. I've also launched a Facebook business page where I'm posting short-form content as well, Bears, NFL, college football, facebook.com/HGramNFL. There's no handles, but if you do the /HGramNFL in your browser, or if you're in the app, just search Harrison Graham, my name, Chat Sports. I should pop up. So would appreciate any and all new followers over there as I'm looking to grow on social. You guys are the best. Bear down. All right, some predictions. A lot of Seattle in the chat. They got your back, man. They're riding with Cullen Seahawks. 21-10 from Tom, 27-24 from John.
Yeah. No, listen, I mean, it'll be a good game for sure. Final game of the season. We shall see.
Do we have an updated price?
I think it's
under 42.
I think we're still stabilizing. Let's see. Yeah. So it's pretty much stabilized.
42 and change.
I will say it's
the last 24 hours has been a good development. It's dropped about $500.
Good development.
If you get another 5 tomorrow, I mean, you're in. If it's under 4 when you wake up tomorrow, what's the percentages?
I mean, it'll
30.
It'll skyrocket. Yeah. It'll skyrocket.
What does it have to get to for it to get to 100%?
I mean, if it were to drop some
if it got below 35 by lunch on Saturday, is that I'm going?
I mean, I may be going if it's above that. So, no, I mean, if we're like in the office tomorrow and one random ticket were to pop up, like again, this wouldn't happen. But if there was one like under 3, yeah, I'm buying it on site and then worrying about the flights later.
Are you still doing? Could you still do the strategy of buy the flights, fly out there, and don't buy till you land? In worst case scenario, you go watch it with Seahawks fans somewhere.
To be honest,
risky.
The top two, at least in my opinion, watching experience would either be at Levi Stadium or at home by myself sweating the game out.
You don't want to go find a Seahawks bar in San Francisco?
No, I would sit there and I would just be
It'd be cool.
It would be a cool element, but it just being in that element, not really sure. Like, I don't know.
I hear you. I
don't know. But yeah, we'll see. Enough about that stuff.
Yeah, enough about the Super Bowl. It doesn't matter.
Nothing about that. Clearly, you guys don't care about that. Someone's saying, get on with the Bears stuff.
Come on, guys. We're having fun.
We're having fun. Here's some Bears-related stuff that we could talk about. As promised, we're back.
Oh, yeah. Cullen's draft crush number 4, Kamari Ramsey. I've seen some day 2 buzz here. Let's talk about Kamari Ramsey, the safety out of USC.
Yeah, former UCLA Trojan, believe it or not. He transferred after his sophomore season with the Bruins. And get this, Harry, his first year as a Trojan, his junior season, immediately became a captain from transferring over. So he's got leadership qualities.
He transferred from where again? Sorry?
UCLA.
UCLA. Okay.
So across town in Los Angeles. Widely regarded as one of the most versatile safeties in this entire draft class, which obviously that's a big part of Dennis Allen and what he's looking for. I will say he probably translates, although he can play that kind of strong safety position near the box, he probably profiles more as either a slot corner or a high free safety. He is a guy that just his instincts might be the best out of everyone in the draft class in terms of that position. He is constantly around the football. While he doesn't have the production, he always finds himself in the right position to make a play. And he's a guy that I think he plays with a really great intensity. Again, had the transfer from UCLA to USC, immediately becoming a captain. He's well respected by his teammates. And I think he's a guy that, if you're the Bears, safety is a position, just kind of, my research going into this draft class, there's not a lot of guys that I'd feel comfortable taking on day 3 to potentially contribute as a possible starter if they don't re-sign C.J. Gardner-Johnson, if they're, for whatever reason, they're not able to bring back Kevin Byard. You're going to have to get a guy on day 2. And A.J. Halsey is a really good option that you've been really high on.
Yep.
I think Kamari Ramsey, though, if you're sitting there, if you're the Bears, one potential option that you could potentially go, because you're going to bring back, obviously, Kyler Gordon. He's not going anywhere. Byard sounds like he's going to re-sign. If you bring back C.J. Gardner-Johnson, I think him and Kamari Ramsey could battle it out to see who would start at safety alongside Byard, and then he could potentially be Byard's replacement long-term in this defense. And I think he's somebody that can play down in the slot corner if you need to. He can play in the box. He can play that high safety. I don't expect him to test well, but like I said, his instincts are really good. He is a safety that moves like a corner. I mean, he is sticky in coverage.
I like that.
Yeah, blanket. Really understands route concepts well, zone coverages, knows how to attack the ball, needs to improve his tackling form. Had kind of a down year in terms of tackling percentage, but I think he shows grittiness. I think he knows how to attack the football, shows really high IQ, can diagnose screenplays really well. Like I said, I think he's eligible to cover anybody from tight ends to running backs to even some slot receivers if you need him to. And look, he's somebody that ultimately, we'll see how he tests the combine. He plays faster than I bet he's going to test. I mean, he's really explosive in short area quickness.
Someone in the chat asked average draft position. So PFF Mock Simulator, take with a grain of salt. It's it's a fluid. They're constantly updating. Right. He's their 62nd ranked player. Average draft position 62.4. So late second, early thirds. Bears pick at 57.
I think he's worth it.
So
if they were to go that route, obviously.
Is this one of those where if he's there at 57? You like it. If he's somehow there at 89, you love it.
Oh, love it if he's there somehow at 89.
Okay.
I still think he's somebody that, because of his versatility and with Dennis Allen's coaching, I think he's going to be somebody that thrives in the NFL a long time just for how smart of a football player he is. And, I mean, Ben Johnson's talked about it, right? You want more smart football players in, your locker room and on your team. And I think with the Bears' uncertainty at safety, at bare minimum, he will be somebody that pushes somebody in his rookie year to start. And I think he could be your long-term option because Byard, again, he's year-to-year at this point. We'll see.
He'll sign a 1 or 2 year deal.
Where he will, kind of ultimately fall after 2026. I think Kamari Ramsey, if you're the Bears, would be a prime target. Again, Dylan Thieneman, Emmanuel McNeil-Warren are both really good options. If the Bears choose to not go safety in the first round, I'm not sure they're going to be there at 57 for Chicago. So you're looking at
McNeil-Warren probably not. Thieneman's getting round one buzz too. I think then you get into the Halsey, Ramsey type of guys.
Yeah.
Wheatley out of Penn State.
I like it's a key.
My guy, Bud Clark, but with his age, he's probably more like third round.
He's also, I think he's going to be more of like a nickel.
Who?
Bud Clark.
Maybe.
I think
he's a little light. The only problem is if they went Bud Clark in this defense, and I'll probably mock him at some point, so I'll talk about him more. He's not the most willing tackler. He's more of like a read the quarterback's eyes and like you know who he honestly reminds me of is like early career Eddie Jackson, where like he is really good at diagnosing what quarterbacks, where they want to go with the football. Now, he'll take chances, and sometimes he'll get burned because of that. He's a spotty tackler, but he is an interception machine. Had 15 in college, so.
Yeah.
But older player, I think he's 24, so that's probably more like third, maybe even fourth round. But I like this safety group because there's like tiers of guys throughout the draft that you can still find value in.
Yeah.
Like even a guy like Michael Taff out of Texas, I don't know how he'll test, but like
he's probably
really smart player.
Yeah.
Probably a 4th or 5th rounder, but like he could develop into a starter potentially.
Yeah. Couple more notes that I just remembered after talking about some safeties. He's 21 years old, so he's still a younger prospect.
Yep.
Has special teams experience, so he's taking snaps at kickoff, punt return, or punt coverage, kick return, field goal block. So he can contribute right away if for whatever reason, like maybe you went a different route. And he's one of the more violent at the catch point safeties, I think, of this entire class. To me, like he's a guy, mentality-wise, you can coach up his technique. His instincts are there. And I think he's going to be somebody that, he's going to make plays in the NFL.
I love it. I
really
love it.
do.
Where should we go next? What position?
I feel like it's got to be offensive tackle, right?
Should we go offensive tackle with left tackle up in the air?
Says I'm concerned about his size, 6 foot. He plays a lot bigger than that.
I mean, he's over 200.
Yeah.
Bud Clark, for example, is like 190, 195.
Yeah. Yeah, testing will be big for him. If he somehow, and again, maybe testing knocks him, we'll see how he tests. I think especially in the third, if you were to somehow get him at 89.
You think he runs sub 4.5?
I think he's around 4.5.
Okay.
I think that's what he is. But he's short area quickness.
Yeah.
Part of what made Brisker really impactful was his ability to kind of mix it up around the line of scrimmage and not afraid to blow up screens, guys out of the flat, whatever the case may be.
That's what he's best at, honestly.
This guy will do that from day one. He is not afraid. And again, improve the technique, but I think if you're somebody that's looking for a safety or some kind of secondary help in this draft class, Kamari Ramsey will make you a better secondary next year.
I like it. Seeming different answers, but enough OTAP. We'll go offensive tackle.
Yeah.
We'll go offensive tackle. Orticelli, how about tight end? We'll hit all positions except for quarterback, probably.
Oh, someone's asking. I mean, I could show real quickly. We don't have to do a deep dive, but the draft crush
Who
so
you have
far.
so far? Yeah, you can cycle through them.
Yeah. Last show we talked about Bryce Betcher. I think it was more of a day 3 guy, linebacker. If the Bears kind of put linebacker on the back burner in terms of
fourth, fifth round.
Yeah, I think he was a guy that was probably going into the Senior Bowl looked at as like a 6th, 7th, maybe even undrafted guy. He improved his draft stock to where I'd be comfortable taking him 4th, 5th.
Okay.
And then also the previous 2, I'm not sure actually if we have them. We got Lee Hunter, and then it was Malachi Lawrence, who's my number 1 first draft crush this year. So
cool.
Both guys on the interior and exterior.
Well, moving forward, we'll
yeah.
You can just organize it in the sheets where they're all next to each other.
Yep.
You can even like duplicate the player card,
whatever the case may be. But that is Kamari Ramsey.
All right, cool. I'm not gonna flash this too long because I don't want YouTube to flag us with the F-bomb. But Wasim, can't say the Pats, F them in Portnoy. Like Portnoy, controversial. That's not me saying that. I got no individual. I don't have a strong thought either way. He can be a little fanboyish, a little much, but it is what it is there. But I don't love his shtick of like, we run the league and of course they're back, and it's like, please beat the Patriots. America needs it.
America simply needs it. Hopefully that's the case.
Is there any part like do you care as a fan about any kind of revenge angle from 13, or is this more of you just want to win the Super Bowl?
No, listen, it's definitely part of it. 31-28. You know why that score is significant? Again, it's what I picked for the Super Bowl game.
That's what it should have been.
That's what it should have been.
Okay, I like that. Someone says, how about a fave from Harrison's alma mater? I mean, I think I'll say this. So Bud Clark is the one people are going to talk a lot about. Eric McAllister, I think, is super underrated at receiver in this draft. They also have a couple off-ball linebackers calling if you just get bored. This guy named Caleb Elarms-Orr, this off-ball linebacker out of TCU, he had a hell of a year. I think he's going to get drafted at some point. He's a pretty fun player. Probably day 3, but I don't know if they're going to have anyone else. Kind of a weaker group this year, so
we'll see.
We'll see. But Clark and McAllister could both be day 2, so we'll.
I think Clark's gonna find his way to being one of the better slot corners in this draft. He really seems to translate the well. I think he had a pretty. Was he at the Senior or the Shrine Bowl? I can't remember.
Senior Bowl, dude. He was picking guys off in one-on-ones.
Yeah, him and
he had one of the best picks of the week too, where like he just snatched the ball from
him and Kyle Lewis. I remember. Yeah, had really good efforts. So
he fits like right in with taking the ball away. I mean, he's. If you remember the TCU Michigan college football playoff game in 2022, he had the pick 6 off J.J. McCarthy early in that game. He's been around for a while. He's a 6-year college player, but he's got an instinct for the football. So we'll see where he goes in the draft. A little bit older, which might cost him a round or so, but
bear down
3rd or 4th round.
Probably Manun guy. Just because, again, he was a guy that clear day 3 guy that obviously got drafted for the Bears.
He was your first one, and the Bears drafted him, and he was good. When you factor in he was your first one, the Bears got him not until the 7th, and he was as good as he was. I mean, that's a pretty good, Venn diagram checking all those boxes there.
Because, I mean, you could technically take that question multiple ways, and technically, Achan Genty was a draft crush, even though that was, my pick for who the Bears I thought were going to take in the first round last year. To me, it's the whole point of it is day 2, day 3, who outperforms their expectations.
Less headliner guys.
Yeah.
Guys who can, that are being slept on a bit.
I wonder if Ben watches the show. Ryan Poles might.
If Poles and Ben watch, you guys can come on anytime.
Yeah.
Anytime.
Happy to chop it up.
We got a good thing going here. All right, we do have one more segment here, and then we are going to call it a day. We'll get to Aaron's Super Chat after this segment, so stick with us, Aaron. But let's talk about a new trade target that I think at least is worth talking about. Whether or not the Bears are interested or he actually would become available, that's a whole different story. But we'll dive into it more in just a moment. Coming up on Chicago Bears Now, after hiring running backs coach Eric Studesville, who spent the last several years with the Miami Dolphins, could the Bears make a splash trade? This has started to circulate around social media. I want to shout out Nick Whalen, who I saw brought this up. He could be popping on the show soon as well. That'll be a fun collab. But we'll tell you who that player is in just a second. But guys, we are knocking on the door of 157,000 subscribers. If you want to help us get there, hit that subscribe button. We're covering the latest news, rumors, trade buzz, draft, free agency, taking your questions. We go live twice a week. Let's make it happen. Hit that subscribe button on today's show. All right, let's talk about De'Von Achane, the running back from the Miami Dolphins. Could the Bears trade for him after hiring his running backs coach throughout the first 3 years of his career? My name is Harrison Graham. Let's discuss it here on today's show. De'Von Achane has become one of the best running backs in the league. In a limited role as a rookie, only 103 carries, averaged almost 8 yards a carry, had 800 yards and 8 touchdowns. Obviously wasn't going to keep up that pace on larger volume. Was at about 4.5 yards per carry. His second year, almost 1,000 yards. And then last year, as the full-time starter for the Dolphins, had the best year of his career. Over 1,300 yards and 8 touchdowns rushing. As a receiving back, he's been a big threat in that regard. The last 2 years, he's basically averaged over 70 catches and over 500 yards and 5 touchdowns over the past 2 seasons. I would argue he's one of the 3 or 4 most dynamic running backs in the NFL. Like, he's probably not quite Jahmyr Gibbs, but he's got that skill set where if he's got space, he can go, whether it's as a runner, whether it's as a receiver. And look, I have pounded the table like, hey, just keep DeAndre Swift. It's under $9 million. He had a good year. I think he'd have another good year next year. That being said, De'Von Achane in this offense, only 24 years old, he would be absolutely unbelievable. And we have to remember who the head coach and I would say the biggest voice in this franchise is. It's Ben Johnson. He's an offensive guy, and he's looking to add playmakers, even though the Bears already have a lot of those. I would not be shocked if he made a swing for a guy like De'Von Achane to pair with Kyle Monangai, and that's your duo moving forward for the foreseeable future with the Chicago Bears. I want to ask you guys, should the Bears trade for De'Von Achane? Type Y for yes, type in for no. Obviously, cost is going to factor in here, but I think he's a hell of a player. So give me your thoughts down in the comment section below. If the price is right, I would be on board. I would be on board. Now, I've said it. I don't want to force the issue. And, like when the Travis Etienne rumor started, I'm like, why would I cut DeAndre Swift to pay Travis Etienne even more money when DeAndre Swift is just as good, if not better? Well, the difference here is that De'Von Achane is clearly better than DeAndre Swift. This is a chart that's been going around recently, and the horizontal axis is the yards after contact per rush. You look at De'Von Achane, he's over 4 yards per carry after contact, and for a smaller running back, he has excellent contact balance. The vertical line is tackles avoided per carry. He's good in that regard, but not great. He's middle of the pack, but still above average. He's still higher than, I'd say he's top third still compared to all the running backs on there. He's highlighted or circled there in kind of that teal color. DeAndre Swift, Kyle Monangai, similar. A little misleading with Monangai. He's obviously a better running back after contact, but he got a lot of those like goal line carries, so that lowered his number there. But it does go to show, while Swift had a great year and Monangai is a good player, there is levels to this, as the kids like to say. De'Von Achane is a clear top 10, if not top 5 or 6 overall running back in the National Football League. And remember, I'm comfortable with Swift and his price tag. I thought he had a great year, and I give him a lot of credit. They do save $7.5 million if they were to cut or to trade him. And who knows, maybe you could find a trade partner. You wouldn't get a lot in draft comp, but maybe a pick swap or a late-round pick or something like that. Whereas if you trade for De'Von Achane, you only take on a $5.8 million cap hit. And a big reason why I've been saying, let's just keep Swift. Let's not force the issue with Etienne or Breece Hall. Or those guys are going to cost more in free agency. Achan is not only better than those players, but his short-term cap hit is less than DeAndre Swift's. whereas a player like Etienne would be more, and he's not as good as Swift. Achan's better than Swift. Like that's kind of the difference here. The Bears would actually save money, at least for 2026, if you were to cut or trade Swift and bring on De'Von Achane. Now, you would extend him, obviously, but he's only 24 years old. You're getting 3 years younger at the position, and the first year and a half of his career, he wasn't a full-time starter. So there's a lot of tread on those tires. This is not a guy that's been run into the ground by the Miami Dolphins. You put a guy like this with an offensive mind like Ben Johnson, you got his running backs coach. I mean, could he have 1,500 yards? I don't know. I mean, Monungai's still going to have carries, but the explosive nature he would bring you. Swift is good in space, but he doesn't break a lot of those shoestring tackles. Achan does. Like, that's kind of the difference between these two runners, and he's 3 years younger. So, again, the cost is important, and we'll talk about that later in the video, but I do get excited thinking about a guy like De'Von Achane if you were to add him into this offense. All right, we'll talk a little about it a little bit more, but first, the big game. It's almost here. Prize Picks get started today. There's no better way to cash in during America's biggest sporting event than Prize Picks, where it always feels good to be right. And since the big game is right around the corner, that also means it's your last chance to get into the football action before next season. So close the season out right with Prize Picks by getting $50 instantly in lineups when you play your first $5. On Prize Picks, how you play is up to you. If you want flexibility, choose Flex Play, where you can get paid even if one of your picks misses. And if you want the biggest payouts, go for the Power Play. No matter your play, Prize Picks is a great way to put your takes to the test. Also, Prize Picks is offering a big game max discount. Half a passing yard for Drake May. You obviously select the more on that. You're halfway home to a two-player lineup. You can go up to 6 players, but I like going 2-player lineups with these max discounts because you only got to hit on one more player, which is pretty freaking awesome. Download the Prize Picks app today. Take advantage of that discount. Use our code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5. Just got to play for $5. You get an additional $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. So the two big questions here when it comes to the potential of trading for De'Von Achane. Number one, is Miami willing to trade him? They're kind of in a transition. New GM, new head coach. I don't know. Contract year for him. Do they want to commit to him long term? Like, to me, playing this year out doesn't make a lot of sense. He's either your guy long term and you pay him, or, maybe you dangle him for a trade. And number two, from a Bears perspective, what would a trade cost? How much would you have to give up in draft capital to bring on De'Von Achane? We'll talk about that part of it here in just a second, but let's talk about the Dolphins angle first. The reason I think this could happen is you do have a new regime. So how does Jeff Hafley feel about him? Bobby Sloak was on the coaching staff, so I'm sure he has strong opinions on Achan. He's now the play caller. New GM. You've got the Tua dilemma in contract hovering over this franchise. If they move off of him, that's a major cap hit. You also want to pay Achan in the process. So, the first big decision they have to make is Tua. Is he their guy this year? If he's not, do they keep him as the backup? Do they trade him? Do they cut him? Do they post you one, cut him? How do you handle Tua Tagovailoa? That's the first decision they have to make. And depending on what they do there from a financial standpoint, you would think that would directly impact what they want to do with the De'Von Achane moving forward. So do they want to pay up for him? Because with the season he had last year, I think the floor for him on an extension is probably $12 million a year. A guy like Kyron Williams got 3 for $33 last offseason. I think James Cook got $12 million per year. Well, the cap's going up $25+ million. So I think you're getting at least James Cook money if you are De'Von Achane. They're similar tier player, not exact carbon copy of players. They're different players. But I think you're getting at least that and maybe more. Does Miami want to do that with where they're at right now? Now, maybe they bring in a Malik Willis and they run this just dynamic kind of spread power attack rushing offense that would be intriguing. But I could also see them being willing to pivot off of De'Von Achane instead of paying him a big number, which he's going to be owed in the next 12 to 18 months, if not this offseason. So let's get to the Bears side of it. What would Chicago be willing to offer? How bad would Ben Johnson like to bring this guy on board? I'm sure one of the early questions to Eric Studesville is like, hey, what's the deal with Achan? Is he worth trading for? Is that a guy we should look at? Because if I'm Ben Johnson, I'd look at De'Von Achane and his skill set and be like, okay, he may not quite be Jahmyr Gibbs, but there's a lot of overlap in that skill set. There's a lot of tread on those tires. He could bring an explosive, dynamic nature to the position that we get a little bit out of with Swift, but not to this level and not for as many years to come, whereas Swift, after this year, is going to be 28, 29 years old. Achan is 24. Like that's a big difference. So 3 trade ideas for De'Von Achane. 3rd round pick, and then DeAndre Swift, take it or leave it. If they don't want Swift, that's fine as well. But DeAndre Swift, is not going to cost much to bring on board with the cap for Miami. Gives them a starting caliber running back for 2026. If they want to keep him long-term, great. If not, that at least gives them a solid player for this year to replace Achan with. So a 3rd and Swift. Trade idea number 2. Achan to the Bears, a 3rd this year and a 6th next year. Like, if you don't want Swift, hey, we'll give you another draft pick. Day 3 pick next year. Okay. Trade idea number 3. De'Von Achane and a 5th to the Bears for a 2nd. If I'm trading a 2nd, I think I need something back. I like Achan, but you're going to have to extend him as well. So a 2nd-round pick and a notable contract, give me a 5th back. That's probably what I'd say. If it's just a 2nd, I'd have to think long and hard. Certainly not going to do a 1st for a running back. I like Achan, but not that much. But I do like him, and the thought of him in this offense does get me pretty darn excited. So to recycle through these trades, Achan for Swift and a 3rd, that's trade number 1. Achan for a 3rd and a 6th, that's trade number 2, 6th being next year. And then Achan and a 5th to Chicago for a 2nd to Miami. Which trade do you like the best? 1, 2, or 3? Let me know down in the comment section below. Final thoughts. I want to make it crystal clear because I've said this throughout the offseason, and I'm not just changing my mind all of a sudden. I am perfectly content with DeAndre Swift. He's not an elite player. He never will be. He's a good back, though. He proved that this year in a good system with good coaching. He can be a well above average starting NFL running back. And the combination with him and Monungai works. 2nd year in the system. I think that can be a more than competent pairing for 2026. That being said, there's no reason to not at least explore this. Like, De'Von Achane would be a clear upgrade. He's got a longer runway. You could still, get a lot of productive years out of him because Monungai will get some carries. So I think you could have him at the top of his game for 3-4 years. Like, I would give Achan a 3 or 4 year extension and be comfortable with it. So, I'm curious to see if the Bears go down this route and explore this. I have no idea if Miami's willing to part ways with them, but they're kind of in a weird spot as a franchise, so it wouldn't completely shock me either. So we'll have to wait and see, but this was a topic I saw going around. I was like, you know what? It's actually pretty interesting. So curious to see your thoughts when I read through the comment section. All right, that's going to do it for this edition of Chicago Bears Now. Appreciate all of you for making it to the end of the video. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, and as always, bear down. All right, we'll hit some supers on the way out, however many there are, and then we will sign off. Harrison's new crib, how much better do you think Max Crosby is over Trey Hendrickson? He's definitely better. He's a couple years younger. He's much better against the run. You could debate the better pass rusher. I think Hendrickson, when fully healthy, probably is a tick better as a pass rusher, but Crosby is still excellent, and he plays more snaps. So there's no question Max is the better player. He's younger, all that stuff. That being said, it's not like there's a Grand Canyon-sized gap between the two players, which is why I have come around to the idea, like, if Max just costs an arm and a leg, if you can get Hendrickson on a 2-year deal, $25 million-ish per year, and the guarantees aren't crazy, like, I'd be more than happy with that type of contract, because I still think he can really get after the quarterback.
If Max Crosby, which I think most people would agree with, is a top 5 edge in the sport, where does Trey Hendrickson fall on that same scale? If you just, again, rough ballpark off the top
Heading
of the
into
head.
last year, I'd still probably say like top 10 or 12, right? Because he's one of the best pass rushers. The run game is average at best.
Yeah.
So, if you factor in the injury, I'd still say top 15 or 20. I mean,
yeah. No,
if he's healthy, I still think he's a top 10 pass rusher.
Would he be a number 1 on more than half of the NFL teams if you just insert him in to whichever defensive line?
I would say probably as just a pass rusher.
Just like, hey.
Not as an overall, like.
Okay, overall edge. Because you're getting him for obviously.
Oh, overall edge. So you're not counting defensive tackles.
No, just like, hey, we're inserting you in as an edge in our lineup. considering age, injury history, consistent pass rush, run defense, everything.
Half the league is probably a good over-under there.
Yeah.
Like, going into this past year, you would say easily, I think. Like, it's more like top 10. Now, the injury's a year older. Half is probably fair. But again, like, a year ago, we were talking, oh, let's trade for him, give him 3 for 100. Well, now it's like, okay, 1 or 2 year deal, 20s per year. Like, I'm pretty comfortable with that. Even if he's not quite what he was, if he's still a very good pass rusher, like, I think that's worth $25 million a year.
Yeah.
On a short-term basis. And you're not giving up draft capital.
Yeah, this is our last super chat unless we get another one. Before we get out of here, rank Trey Hendrickson. He is a top blank edge rusher or just edge player in the NFL. Let us know down below in the chat. Top 10, top 15.
I'd say he's between
top 20.
Somewhere between 11 and 20. I'd have to look closer. Heading into last year, he was top 10 because his pass rushing alone was so elite. Now, what is he after the injury? It's not like he had an Achilles tear or something like that. So,
yeah,
I'm still optimistic he can get back to being one of the better pass rushers.
And I mean, when you're signing an edge, right, like getting after the pass rusher, that's got to weigh more in terms of like when you add an edge to your roster. Obviously, you're hoping he gets after the quarterback. Setting edge is important, but I would still say like your ability to impact the passer is more valuable than setting the edge.
And Sweat is he's not his peak run defense self because the Bears have needed him to be more of a pass rusher, but like I think he can revert back a little bit and like be a run stopper first, pass rusher second if you get a guy like Hendrickson. Plus, I think if you did sign a guy like Hendrickson, drafting a defensive tackle high that's good against the run, I think becomes a priority. And I do think they would do that. So they have a lot of different avenues they could take in terms of beefing up this defensive line.
I'm just going to update the poll. So you guys let me know. Again, just as an edge. So everything considered, adding him to your defensive line, where does he rank? I put top 10, top 15, top 20, outside of the top 20.
Did you see what the Grizzlies reportedly asked for Miami for John Morant?
I did not see that.
Jaime Jaquez or Khalil Ware, pick one. Terry Rozier, who might be in prison. It's just salary filler. And 1 first-round pick for John Morant. I get his stock has fallen. I think I'm pulling the trigger on that if I'm Miami. Pun not intended there.
No, yeah.
I mean, Jaime Jaquez is a nice role player. Khalil Ware has potential, but like,
I'd give up Jaime, Terry Rozier. What was it? Another first?
1 first. Pick Ware or Jaquez plus Rozier, who's never going to play for you again and probably never playing in the NBA again, and 1 first.
I'd take
even if you're down on Jaw, I would take that chance if I'm Miami.
Jaquez and a first is because Rozier is just filler.
He's irrelevant. Yeah. Jaw's still good. Like, I mean, he's still going to score 20 to 25 a night.
Yeah.
Like, I get it. Like, he's hard to trust. He kind of blew it, all that stuff. But like, it's not like he just sucks or something.
Yeah. I don't hate it. But again, he's deteriorated a lot as a player. Like, does he contribute to winning basketball anymore? I don't know. But
to me, like, Jaime Jaquez is never more than a role player. Khalil Ware has a lot of potential, but like,
here's the thing. I would keep Ware out of that because of his kind of ability to be a stretch big.
Like, to me, yeah, like
and
I
his ability to block shots.
Yeah, and Ware with Jaw could actually be pretty fun. But like, Jaquez, to me, on a good team, at best, is a 6-man.
At best.
You kept that, like, 1 first-round pick. I think I would have done that trade.
Potentially with projections, too. Like, yeah. McMillan apologizes. Nice.
Wasim, the Heat fans drive rolling nuts with the love of Ware. Yeah, he feels like He's more of a talent than like it just doesn't feel like he knows what he's doing yet as a player. And the question is, will he ever get to a point where like he really understands what he's doing out there?
Right. No, I mean, listen, out of him or Hawkes, I'm just taking him because, again, he's a big
upside.
And upside and all that.
You can find Jaime Hawkes prototypes all the time.
Hawkes, to me, is a really nice rotational piece. That's about what I expect him to be for his entire
He's
career.
one of – there's 75 Jaime Hawkeses in the NBA. Wings that can do a little bit of everything.
Yeah. He's a guy that doesn't really excel in anything but does a lot of the little things well, which is valuable, but it's not –
You can find those all over the place.
It's not keeping me from trading for –
Kelly Oubre is a free agent every year. Go sign him. It's the same thing.
I will say, like, again, I'm not the biggest Ja Morant guy.
I'm not either, but, like, that's not that much.
No. Here's Wasim. All right, so final, we got about 43 votes, 45 now. 52% saying top 15.
Yeah, I think
it's about fair.
If he's back to mostly what he was as a pass rusher, I think he's firmly top 15, fringe top 10. I mean, he's been one of the best pass rushers for like the last half decade.
Hell, if you get him back to like
led the league in sacks in a 4-year stretch.
If you get him, Bears sign him 2 years, $50 million at X amount guaranteed,
35 to 40 guaranteed.
He gives you 12 sacks next year. You're taking that every day of the week, and that's like, again, 2 years ago you 17.5 sacks.
Well, more than that, like good pass rush win rate, impacting the quarterback. Like Montez had a solid year. He hit 10 sacks, but it's not like he had like. Let's see what his pass rush win rate was.
Aaron says, "Where do you rank Matt?" He's a top 5 edge rusher to me, or edge just player, whatever you want to call it. Like he's
fringe top 5 for sure, top 10.
I think he's. I don't know if you can name 5 better. I don't know if you can.
Micah Parsons, Myles Garrett.
Sure.
Would you take Nick Bosa over him?
I think that's a toss-up.
Both had season-ending injuries. I would take both of Houston's guys, I think.
Over Crosby?
Will Anderson Jr.
I was going to say, I'll take Crosby over Hunter. If you want to argue Will Anderson, sure.
Crosby's better as a run defender. Hunter's better as a pass rusher, I think.
I'd take Hunter over, or I'd take Crosby over Hunter. If you want to say Anderson, sure.
Like Montez Sweat's pass rush win rate was like, let's see.
I think like Aiden Hutchinson, I'd take Aiden Hutchinson over Crosby.
11.5%, so a little above average.
Yeah.
So
what? So it's Parsons, Garrett, Hutch. I'll give you Will Anderson. Bosa's a toss-up, especially given he's coming off an injury.
He was off to an unreal. But yeah, the injury obviously you have to factor in. So, Crosby ended the season injured too, not as serious of an injury.
Like I would take Crosby over Bosa with the injury factor. I'd take him over T.J. Watt. I would. T.J. Watt regressed this year.
I would too. Watt's he's fallen off.
And listen, respect to T.J. Watt, but I'd take Crosby. That's 4.
I'm looking up the sack leaders now, just to Nick Benito.
I respect to Nick Benito. He's not Max Crosby.
I agree with you. I love Crosby.
Yeah,
I would for sure take Garrett over him. I would for sure take Hutch over him, especially because he's younger. I would for sure take Myles Garrett Micah Parsons.
Micah Parsons. Will Anderson, I'll give you.
I would take Will Anderson. So, yeah, he's probably the 5th guy right now.
There you go. I respect Brian Burns, too. I would take Max Crosby.
Yeah, Burns, he kind of had an inflated sack year. He's really good, but I'll take Crosby. Benito, I think, is probably the one to debate. Danielle Hunter has been so underrated his whole career.
I respect the Hunter.
He's an unreal player.
It's also like how much of that is also playing alongside Will Anderson, too.
He was doing it in Minnesota with no one on the other side.
But at this stage in his career, how old is Daniil?
30? Like 30 or 31. He's like Trey Hendrickson's age. He's 31.
Yeah, I'd take Crosby.
Pass rush grade, 90. His win rate was like 18%. Pass rusher. He's got...
That's honestly a great question for whenever the Raiders boys get back. Who would you take? Or rank these edges? Crosby, Anderson, and Danielle Hunter.
Danielle Hunter, if you had to guess, how many sacks does he have in his career? He's played 10 years.
How many sacks he's had in his career?
Yep. 10 years.
I think it's been higher. Like, I think he's definitely in the triple digits, if I had to guess.
Yeah, 114 and a half
Yeah.
in 10 years. That's pretty crazy. And that was a guy early in his career had a neck issue.
Yep.
One year he played 7 games.
So at worst, Crosby's the 6th best edge in the league. If you want to put the Hunter in the top 5.
Yeah, and look, I think Crosby's better, well-rounded. He's better against the run, but I do think like Hunter, when his career's over, we're going to be like, this guy quietly had 160 sacks. Like, how did he do this? I mean, he's got
he's a
1,
really
2, 3, 4, 5. He's got 6 seasons with 12 or more sacks, and another 10-plus sack season. And the year he only played 7 games, he had 6 sacks. So if he was healthy that year, he would have had double digits easily.
Yeah.
Good player. All right.
Someone said Jared Verse. Verse definitely.
He's ascending, but he's not there yet.
He's not there.
He's not there yet.
I think if you trade for Crosby, you're getting a top 5 guy, arguably. If you're trading for Trey Hendrickson, top half of the league as a number 1, like top 15, 16.
Trey Hendrickson is kind of like he's a wide receiver 1, but there's levels.
Yeah.
Like he's like when Allen Robinson was here, he was a wide receiver 1 for the Bears and for some teams, but it's not like he was Tyreek Hill or DeAndre Hopkins at the time.
Yeah. Some people are saying Jared Verse. Guys, I respect Jared Verse. He's not at that
top
level.
5.
He's not that level.
He's probably top 20. If he converts more of those pressures into sacks, he'll get there. He had 83 pressures this year, 7.5 sacks. He impacts the quarterback a bunch.
He does.
All right, last super chat, and then we are out of here. Aaron Bartel says, thoughts on Caleb Banks for the Bears? I think he will be a guy talked about a lot at 25, especially if they do address edge in free agency. Like if they sign a Khalil Mack or a Trey Hendrickson, I think defensive tackle in round 1 skyrockets. I would be pretty tempted with if the Banks medicals check out and he's there at 25, I think he has the highest upside of any defensive tackle in this draft. Now, he's not the safest pick, but I think his upside is off the charts.
I will say, I feel like it's more likely that the Bears address
What's up? Yeah, we're good.
We're good. Appreciate it, Jack.
My wife is
Legendary
saying
Bears
FaceTime
producer.
me. I don't know if she says means during the show or not, so I'm just going to do it real quick. You can keep talking.
Yeah. Aaron Bartels. Just in terms of defensive tackle free agents.
Oh, where are you?
At the lake.
All right, I'll show the chat this real quick. We're about to sign off. All
Hello,
right.
Hannah.
My wife Hannah and PJ are at a lake, and look at all the animals, all the goats.
Are eating the invasive species.
Just a bunch of young Caleb Williams out there.
A lot of Caleb Williams out there.
Look,
Collins.
PJ is so
Oh,
excited.
PJ's fired up. Is he jumping?
What's PJ's favorite animal?
What would you say his favorite animal is outside of like pets?
Cow.
Cows?
For sure.
There's an easy answer
He
there. but
likes
that's okay.
going. Yeah, bear was the answer, but we'll work on that.
All right, well, hey, call me when you're off.
Yeah, all right, I will.
Okay, love you, bye.
I gotcha. But David Onyemata, DJ Reader, John Franklin Myers.
I'm intrigued by Franklin Myers if the contract's right.
I think he would be, but he's like clearing away like Eric Armstead, Jaguars. He's probably going to get cut. I think he could also be a decently big name. The edge depth, though, in terms of edge defenders that are free agents, just flipping this
There's
here.
a lot of them.
Hendrickson, Mack, Hassan Reddick, Joey Bosa,
Jalen Phillips.
Like, there's so many
Adafe
names
Owe. There's
that the Bears can add. And then it feels like defensive
Boye
tackle
Mafe.
is
Clowney.
deeper. I mean, well, and that's the thing. Defensive tackle and edge are pretty deep in the draft, so it makes sense for the Bears to potentially go after free agent edges and maybe draft D-tack in the draft.
And you could still draft an edge in the draft. Like, especially if like you go Mack or Hendrickson, 1 or 2 year deal, like you could still add another edge. Like maybe you don't go first round, but all right.
Cowboys.
Appreciate that, Jason.
Cowboys will play in Brazil in 2026.
Oh, there you go.
There we go. Yeah, that feels like the most likely option. Like if the Bears, obviously they're going to look to improve this pass rusher position, trade or free agency for edge, draft defensive tackle.
Yeah.
That's what I
kind
feel
of
like is the
agree.
most likely.
And then I would still probably draft an edge at some point.
Sure. Maybe
But
Malachi
D-Tac.
Lawrence.
D-Tech shoots up the board if you go that route. All right, we're out of here. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Colin and I are back in office tomorrow, so we'll have some fresh content. Next time we talk live, though, will be after the Super Bowl, so enjoy Super Bowl Sunday. Maybe Colin will be there. We'll find out. We will find out. If he is, Monday's live show with you on like no sleep will be entertaining. I don't know if you're going to be calling in or not in that scenario. I feel like you got to come in and tell some stories.
We will.
We'll rally the troops.
We'll rally the troops. One way or another, you will see me on Monday.
There you
I'm gonna say that right now. I'm gonna speak it into existence.
All righty. You heard it from the man himself. I'm Harrison Graham. Appreciate everybody being here. We'll see you guys next time. Bear down.